So, good evening. Good evening. Thanks for coming on weekend too. So, thanks to IITM and thanks to all the people. So, I'm Ravi Kumar, 28 plus years of experience in information technology and EB1A, Einstein Visa recipient from United States and co-author for 8 books and technical reviewer for 7 books. So all the books as released in from 2010 to till date. And I designed 2 production databases for 2 central banks. One is the great and greatest Reserve Bank of India through LaserSoft. The company is founded by IIT Chennai gold medalist, Mr. B. Suresh Kamath. So I worked for LaserSoft for almost 20 years. So the company later on moved to Intellect. Now it is, we'll say, Intellect Arena Design. And one more core banking is a Central Bank of Seychelles. And I'm a member of PGUS, Postgres United States, and also member of senior member in IEEE, and I'm chief architect in one of the forum, and Snowflake Data Superhero 25 and 26. So this last 28 years predominantly started with COBOL in LaserSoft, started with COBOL, then transformed to Visual Basic, then finally landed in Oracle. Last 2 years started working on open sources like pure open source PostgreSQL. So this book we have released in Jan 2026. This is completely our experience when we migrated one of the biggest retail store in United States from Oracle real application clusters to PostgreSQL. So in that, we learn a lot in that implementation or migration. So most of the things we moved into this book. So these are the 2 chapters. These are the 2 chapters. We struggled a lot for writing because we are doing first time migration from Oracle RAC to the 2 open source Postgres. The first, the retail store, they decided to go with EDB Postgres. You know, Postgres is a community version. Lot of companies like EDB, they are taking Postgres community. On top of that, they will add their own modules, their own wrappers, their own built-ins, like Fujitsu. And there are a lot of companies in VMware Postgres, and you know, Amazon RDS, Amazon Aurora. All these are based on Postgres open source only. They are taking and they are developing their own databases. So, agenda, why to migrate? So, basically the business drivers, of course, cost challenges and vendor dependency. In our case, in my entire talk, I will be comparing with Oracle versus PostgreSQL. Doesn't mean that Oracle is not, it's not a, it's a robust database, no doubt about that. But what we face, the challenges, and how we are able to migrate from commercial database to PostgreSQL, that is what I am going to share my experience. So there is a tool called Ora2PG, so open source tool like PostgreSQL, and in this tool you can move schemas or enter databases. You can do whatever you want with Ora2PG. There is an open source tool. Then there is a step-by-step process. Ora2PG, it is not a rocket science to install. So far, you can, after installation, you can check the assessment. For example, I have an Oracle database with 1,000 tables. I have different set of objects, like objects means it can be a tables, it can be a packages, it can be indexes, it can be anything. So when you are migrating from Oracle to PostgreSQL, whether I'm able to move all the data, because the objects like tables, constraints, indexes, it can come not only through Oracle PG, any open source tool can do that. But if your business logic is in packages, functions, procedures, then you will have some manual intervention when you are migrating from Oracle to Postgres. So those manual intervention, for example, you have a business logic in a Oracle procedure or package. When you do with Aura to PG, no, it won't convert automatically. No, maybe 30 to 40% it will convert. Remaining 60%, you have to sit with the application team or your business analyst team. You have to check each and everything before moving into lower environment or to production. So most of the databases, some of the business logic will be involved in procedures, packages, functions. Some are them not. But the assessment before migrating from Oracle to Postgres, that is your role sitting with application team, application with the business logic, with across the teams of your any application system. We have to go through one by one. Once assessment is through, then only you have to go to next step. Then key benefits, of course, cost savings, scalability, and you can go for, even I will show you some of the challenges and best practices when we migrate from Oracle to Postgres. Why PostgreSQL? It's a completely open source, and last 4 or 5 years, predominantly Postgres moving into in a very good shape. For example, if you take cloud, in Amazon, RDS Aurora, if you take Microsoft Azure, if you take Google, some way or other, PostgreSQL is there. But they will say RDS, Aurora, AlloyDB, Cloud SQL, all are same only. It's a built on top of open source PostgreSQL. Simple. Then, coming to scalability and high availability. So native replication is available. Native replication means I want to replicate data between from A to B. There is a functionality called logical replication. Read replicas means primary, for that no, there will be a DR systems, we will say read replicas. And partitioning, parallel query, and HA frameworks. This HA frameworks, Patroni, Citus, Kubernetes, this and all not built in inside PostgreSQL. These are all extensions. For example, someone explained very well in a Patroni how the availability we have to take care of in Postgres. Like Citus. Citus is nothing but sharding. Now I will compare with the Oracle versus PostgreSQL. High availability. In Oracle, you no need to go for Patroni, etcd, HA proxy. This and all outside extensions we have to install and configure to achieve high availability. But in Oracle, there is a tool, there is a built-in called real application clusters to achieve high availability. It will comes with your Oracle built-in. Then Citus. Citus means sharding. If your database is, you want to scale the database, not vertical, you want to scale horizontally to take the load from application users. In Oracle, there is a concept called sharding. It will take care of your application users, the concept of sharding. But in Postgres, there is no functionality, direct functionality called sharding. there is a functionality called Citus. Using Citus, you can go for sharding mechanism in PostgreSQL. And there are 1,000+ extensions. For example, I want to take backup, PG_base backup, and I want to go for benchmarking. How many transactions, TPS, transactions per second, I want to test against my database. There is a utility called PG_bench. And PG_, so there are so many extensions. So it is not directly available in open source. If you want to test backups, PG_base backup, and you want to test your transactions per second against your database, there is a tool called PG Bench and PG Bouncer. There are so many extensions. Those extensions you have to bring to achieve your robust system in PostgreSQL. So still they are adding more and more extensions. Then cost optimization. Of course, if you take Oracle Enterprise Edition, and if you want to achieve high availability, Oracle RAC, you have to pay for extra. If you want to achieve RTO and RPO through Active Data Guard, separate license. If you want to check your workload repository, AWR reports, extra license. If you want to divide your database tables into partitioning also separate license. So, of course, I'm not comparing apple to apple, but if you want to achieve the end system, everything is licensed. Everything. Right from the enterprise edition of Oracle software, if you want to achieve high availability, Oracle RAC, separate license. If you want to achieve DR system, Active Data Guard, separate license. If you want to divide your tables into parts for achieving performance, partitioning is a separate license. And AWR reports, how my database is working in the load. If you want to take the AWR report, separate license. Security, if you want to introduce security, separate. So all are licenses only. But in Postgres, so only support because is a open source. But what and all I explained, high availability, Active Data Guard, AWR reports, all are not straight away available, not in Postgres open source. Those things, if you want to achieve, bring through extensions. Hope I am clear. Hope whenever you are not able to follow, just stop me. So all those extensions for high availability, DR system, sharding, workload repositories, partitioning. So most of the things we have to bring as extensions on top of open source PostgreSQL. So the architecture wise, I'm not able to find the big difference between the commercial database, Oracle database versus open source PostgreSQL. If we look at System Global Area, we will say SGA. Here we will say shared memory. Here we will say Program Global Area for sorting purpose, hash join purpose. Here we will say backend local memory. And there are backend processes like database writer, log writer, checkpoint, process monitor, system monitor, archive process. Everything is we can map. So here we will say background writer, wall writer, checkpointer, auto vacuum, statistics collector is equal to here, and logger and archiver, nothing but your archive process. And of course, both will be stored on the disk storage only. So some way or other, the architecture, if you look at process wise, memory wise, background process wise, almost all same only. Technically, I'm saying, technically. Then there is a file called control file. It's a brain of the Oracle database. So if you look at here, control file, here we will say PG control. So this control file, we know we will have redundancy. If something goes wrong for one control file, you will have multiple copies. But here we have only single copy. And here you can read, it's a binary file. It stores all your recovery manager backup information. Here we have to bring PG base backup as a external tool. So there you will say control file, it's a brain of the database. Here, how your data or how your backups or how your data is managed, everything is through PG control, you can see. So if I execute PG underscore control data, so you get what is the latest checkpoint and what is your block level and what are the wall buffers, everything it will give you information. And right hand side, I queried from Oracle control file. How many control files? What is the block size? You can see the information. So coming to Oracle PG, you have for migrating from, so migration means you have so many options. For example, on-premise to on-premise, number one. On-premise to cloud, number two. Cloud to cloud. So you have three options. If you have a pure Postgres community, then I don't have any choice. I have to go for Oracle PG only because this is open source tool. If it is EDB Postgres, you have a EDB migration toolkit. If it is, let's say for example, you are moving from on-premise to AWS Aurora or AWS RDS. You have a tool called Data Migration Service, DMS, and you have a Schema Conversion Tool, SCT. If you take Google, they will have their own data migration services. Some way or other, these three, I will not say equivalent, but it will do the same process. The difference between these three and Oracle PG, as I mentioned, if your database is a plain database, in the sense, your business logic is in procedures, functions, packages, well packed, your core banking system, then Oracle PG, directly conversion, not possible. Maybe I can take tables, data, indexes, most of the views, synonyms, materialist views, but the procedures, you have to sit with your application team and you have to change or you have to look at line by line. But these three, I heard that it will convert closely to 75% to 80%. So Oracle PG is an open source tool. So as I mentioned, you can migrate specific schemas, in specific schemas tables, and large enter scale it will support, and reverse engineering also possible. And even you can do data replication and migration with the Oracle PG. Before getting into Oracle PG, basically whatever the features we saw that previous slide, completely the Oracle PG on Perl based. You need a Perl version. There is a language called Perl. You need that libraries. On top of Perl, you need Perl XUtils maker and Perl database interface, Perl comprehensive Perl archive network. These are the three tools required for smooth migration from Oracle to Postgres. So before installing Oracle PG, just have a look in your server Perl version, whether it is installed properly. On top of Perl, these are the three utilities You can install with RPM minus IVH. It is not a rocket science. RPM minus IVH, you can install these three. Then the installation is only 4 steps. The only 4 steps. And you need one more driver called DBD, database driver. So the prerequisites, I will repeat once again. If you want to migrate from Oracle to Postgres, you need Perl in your system. On top of Perl, you need 3 built-in packages plus your DBD, database driver for Oracle. So this is the main component. The main component. It will check the connectivity between Oracle database from Perl to DBI. So this DBD will talk internally with these 3 interfaces. So these are the 3. It will automatically communicate smooth migration from Oracle to Postgres. And let's say I have server A with Oracle database is up and running. I have server B. I have PostgreSQL. Using Oracle PG, how I can migrate from Oracle database to PostgreSQL? These are the 3 building blocks required. These are the 3 building blocks. So on top of Perl, see, Oracle PG is a command line interface, and you have an underlying library that performs scanning and extraction, and you need one configuration file. In that configuration file, I have to say the following things. So what is my Oracle home? What is my Oracle data source name? And what is my Oracle user and password? Which schema? In databases, you will be having a lot of schemas. Which schema? Excuse me. I kept timer for, maybe I will take 10 more minutes. Otherwise this flow will go off. So, which schema? And I have to say, what is the, where I have to taking this schema. So, in top 4 or 5 related to source database, and top from this 5, the target. So, I am saying from which data source name to which data source, and which user to which user, and where the output has to go. So in Oracle PG, the configuration file will have this. You will have a lot of parameters, but for time being, I need these things. You can have so many number of parameters. If you look at this configuration file, you will have 100 plus parameters. So what and all relevant to you, you can configure. And so key capabilities, I can go for schema export, data migration, and you will have equivalent, like in Oracle PLSQL, in Microsoft SQL Server TSQL, but here you will have PGSQL and assessment reports, and it will support parallel processing. If you compare the feature by feature, almost the edge is PostgreSQL because all are built in, but here it's not built in. It's a commercial database. You have to pay. For example, replication. I want to replicate the data between server A to server B. Either you can go for Active Data Guard, licensed version, or I don't want to pay anything, go for a built-in data guard or Golden Gate. So Golden Gate means definitely it comes with some commercials, but here not. So this is my source database. This is my target database. So these are the things I have to configure. Connection layer, as we discussed, we need database driver and schema parser and data exporter, configuration engine, or R2PG.conf, and report generator. So report generator, you have to take before migration, after migration. Before migration, you have to check. For example, I have a table with 30 columns. First column may be number, second column may be date, third column may be character. When I'm taking the table from Oracle to Postgres, I have to look at what are the equivalent. Maybe the first column number may not be there in PostgreSQL. Second column date may not be there in directly. Maybe there will be some other a date and time, something like that. So the assessment report, you have to look carefully how many tables I have. In each table, how many columns are there? And the table, how many rows? So that assessment report will give you where and all you have to look in. After looking, I have to correct my .SQL files. It will give you tables.SQL, views.SQL, each and everything you have to open and you have to check. That is the pain point in Aura to PG when I compare to other migration services toolkits. But when it is coming free, you will have definitely, there will be a stress point, no doubt. So my assessment, let's say for example, I have taken 7 days. We took 2 months because 1,000 plus tables. So we were comparing each and everything. So finally we moved. After moving, the final report generator is excellent. For example, I have 10 tables. When I look at Oracle, 10 tables, let's say for example, table 1, 1,000 rows. After Aura to PG migration, when I go to PostgreSQL, the first table should have 30 columns, 1,000 rows. Like that, I have to check after assessment, after migration, then only your migration is successful. So this is database point of view. Then you have to release this database not to production. So database wise, I'm happy. So and so tables, so and so columns is equivalent to Oracle to Postgres. Then it comes to business logic. So when I execute one of the procedure, for example, account update, it should not update somewhere else, or it should not update wrong values. So there are 2 checks after migration. One is database wise check. Another is business logic wise check. Otherwise, my migration is not complete. Maybe some of the systems are mission critical systems. As a DBA, I cannot say that after migration, let's say for example, I checking the tables count. Here also tables count. Oh, okay, matching. Views matching. Indexes matching. Views, materials views matching. So objects equally matched, but you have to execute your business logic also. Then only I can say migration is successful. Then only I can release to lower environment. Then, so one is assessment. This is the critical step. Then environment 2, you have to install Aura 2 PG. Based on you have to say where is source, where is destination, and what you are going to do. Let's say for example, I have 5 schemas. How many schemas you are planning to take from Oracle to Postgres? You define here. Then data migration. You have 4 methods based on your assessment, based on your source database, based on your application type, based on your RTO and RPO, which method I have to choose. Then test, and this is the point, this is a very pain point, and cutover. So first assessment, environment setup, completely Aura 2 PG depends on Perl, and those 3 binaries or packages, I can say. Then schema migration or schemas migration. Then data. Then which method you are going to use? Test and validation. Finally cutover. So this is what I was talking about. The assessment report. Here you have to see. And they will give you the comments also. Where and all you have to look in. For example, database links, global temporary table, index, how many are there? So this migration report will give you complete insight in your assessment report. Then here when I'm mapping, no, everything looks fine. Where character, except this one. If you look at one of the column, one of the data type is date. Here there is no equivalent. It is a timestamp. Where and all your tables in source database, in Oracle, date for the column, you have to look carefully when you are migrating from Oracle to Postgres, because there is no straight conversion tool. So here the complete story, Ora to PG, I'm not doing anything. Ora to PG, they will convert, they will give you the script, they will give you the command to execute. Then only your data will move from Oracle to Postgres. Everything is good. The only thing is this check we have to do it manually because we don't have straight conversion data type. And this is what I was talking about. There are 4 methods. Choose wisely based on your application type, your database, number of tables, number of database objects, business logic, and your downtime. Then choose method. So we have taken Ora to PG. So here, first I will execute. It will give you the migration.html. That's what we have seen in the assessment report. After assessment report, I will execute using Ora to PG this statement. It will give you complete statements in, it will create the directory. Under the directory, it will give the project-wise tables, functions, views. We no need to do anything. Completely Ora to PG will create the base directory. Then the export.sh, it will generate for you. So this export will give you the script only. For example, I have 10 tables in Oracle. That will give you equivalent script to execute in PostgreSQL. Then it will give you import. When you execute import, let's say for example, I have taken the export 10 tables from source database. Then I will execute import. While import, it will ask you whether you need data. You will say yes. We said yes. The problem is, I will tell you. Then after that, you can check the count number of rows after complete migration. These are the parallel modules. One of the issue, when I said import, it will give you interactive mode. Can I import tables from Oracle to Postgres? I said yes. Can I import views from source Oracle to Postgres? I said yes. Like that, it will ask for all the objects, tables, views, indexes, middle-aged views. So I have a database with a primary key and foreign key relationship. But in Ora to PG, we raised a request. For example, the parent table, child table. If you don't have parent and child table references, Ora to PG is excellent tool. If you don't have business logic in procedures, functions, packages, Ora to PG, excellent tool. Still is an excellent tool, but the manual intervention is required. So when we have primary key and foreign key tables, first it is imported to my target database. So when it is imported, foreign key related tables, of course it look for parent table. Then we got errors. We looked at Ora to PG to see first move parent table followed by foreign key tables, child tables. There is no option. There is no option. So where and all you have, let's say I have 1,000 tables, 5 tables are parent and child table, primary key, foreign key relationship. Those 5 tables, you will get issues. So what you have to do now, while import, differ the constraints. I mean, don't look at parent and foreign key relationship. You first import everything. Don't break my migration. So these are the 3 columns, the three values you can specify in your configuration file. Once that is done, then you will enable all the constraints back. For example, this is not a new topic. Even in Oracle, no validate. When you are taking export, with indexes, it will take a lot of time. When you're taking export, no, indexes equal to n means when I'm taking the export backup from Oracle, I'm not taking indexes. Indexes will take a lot of time. So first I will take table and table data. Then I will take the indexes and I will re-import to minimize the time. That's all. So here, these 3, I will say, I have taken 4 points, 6 more points, 6 more minutes, please. Where I left off. So these are the 3. So when I'm doing migration, even though you have foreign key, primary key relationship, it won't break your migration. But after migration, reset the value, then you enable all your constraints. Otherwise, going with, there is no proper data movement through Aura to PG from Oracle to Postgres when you have parent and child relationship. That is the major setback in what I am seeing now in Aura to PG. Maybe they will correct it in future versions. And one more, what we faced is there is a date column in Oracle. There is no straight conversion in PostgreSQL. Where and all you have mentioned date columns in your tables, you have to relook when Aura to PG generated script in your target database. Open each and every script, then go to the table, find out which table is having date column, you remap to nearest conversion type. Then finally, we have taken one schema. Left hand side Oracle 19C, 19.20. Right hand side PostgreSQL 14.5. And we have taken the count, more or less same. After issues with the primary key, foreign key relationship, after issues with date column in source database. So this plane, finally it took for 28 days to 30 days. These are some of the, I was referring some of the challenges. Date versus timestamp. And if you have heavily loaded PLSQL packages, you have to sit and do manual intervention with your application team. There is no straight conversion for your business logic like procedures, functions, packages, triggers. There is no straight conversion. Aura to PG won't do your business logic straight away conversion. Manual intervention is required. Then application connection strings. You have to check your JDBC, ODBC connection. And case sensitive. By default, Oracle is a case insensitive by default. Here you have to look in your equivalent to PostgreSQL. So this is some of the PLSQL packages, some of the data types. These are the challenges we have faced. And there is a sequence next value. For example, I have a table. When I insert, I don't want to insert with numbers. I will create one sequence. Sequence means when I enter first his name, 1A. When I insert 2B. So I am not taking care of that 1 and 2. That will take care of sequences. But in Oracle, sequence of next value will give you properly. Here we have some issues when with the multi-session behavior. So actually, let's say for example, you have one and two rows. In Oracle, the next value means it will take automatically 3. But if you have multi-sessions in PostgreSQL, the next value cannot be 3. So those are the issues, multi-sessions with next value with sequences. Maybe this and all. For now, date versus timestamp, primary key versus foreign key relationship, and when you are using heavily sequences in Oracle, when you are using that same sequence you are planning to take to PostgreSQL, in these 3 things you should be careful. And as I mentioned, PostgreSQL is everywhere in last 5 years. Now it is competing with the other databases like Oracle, Microsoft SQL Server, IBM DB2, but Postgres Community Edition is lot of people are writing the code and they are releasing. It's a community version. The people they will write the code. It is not a commercial database. But in Amazon RDS, Aurora, Google Cloud, AlloyDB, they are taking the open source and they are doing some changes on top of Postgres. They are renaming some name like Google Cloud, AlloyDB, Azure for database of PostgreSQL, all are same only. But they are taken the base from PostgreSQL open source. So key takeaways. Ora 2 PG dramatically reduces manual migration effort, except if you have business logic in procedures and functions. And if you have heavily used a date and a timestamp equivalent of Postgres, then when you have heavily used primary key, foreign key relationship, parent and child relationship. Other than that, it is a straight tool. You can go for Oracle to PostgreSQL migration. It's a free tool. So thanks for your patience. If any questions, I can take offline, or whatever I know, I can take it here also. Sir.
You said about the compatibility of data types. I mean, most of them are compatible, but when you talk about the other objects, say for example indexes and all, Oracle has a lot of other indexes which we don't have it in Postgres, and Postgres has many indexes which probably Oracle doesn't have. Say for example, your reverse key index, I don't think reverse key index of Oracle is available in Postgres.
Correct, sir.
Okay, so how do we migrate when a bitmap index for another example? So if they are there in Oracle, and if we need it in Postgres, what is the workaround? I mean, did you face any such scenario like that? And add on one more question. The constructs in the objects, in the sense PL SQL, be it procedures or functions, the construct itself, there are a lot of differences in the construct itself. So again, how did you manage? Because assessment of 2 months time, you said that seems to be a very large time. And data, when you do the migration, database will also have a cutover period, and then data will also be coming into the database. So how did you manage the migration till the last record that was getting inserted when you were doing into the migration? Thanks.
Sir, here I can answer in 2 ways, sir. One is, we took for 28 days, I mentioned when we take this retail store in US, the most of the business logic in the procedures and functions. So for converting the objects like tables and views, indexes, materialized views, we didn't face any issues. We have completed maybe maximum 5 days or 5 working days. But where we faced the completely, let's say for example, they have 100 plus packages and procedures. So there we struggled a lot. In the sense, those 23 days we have taken with the business logic. So we will correct it one procedure. For example, we'll correct it one procedure against one table. They used to execute one module. They will check whether this and all check only, sir. We'll say validation check. For example, I will execute the procedure, how much time it is taking, and what and all tables it is updating, what is the correct values. So when you are conversion, no, definitely there is no straight conversion. So manual intervention is required. So when you are converting with that, we have taken 23 days is for testing heavily. If that retail store is not having their business logic in procedures, functions, packages, maybe it could have done maybe 2 weeks time. I mean working days, I'm saying. Number one. Number two, there are two indexes they have used in Oracle RAC. One is function-based indexes, reverse key. These are the two, there is no equivalent concept in PostgreSQL. So reverse key, we checked with the application team, they said, we will go for binary. But function-based index means we will write a function, that index will take care of automatically when you execute that function. There, they said, we will create separate function, on top of, we will create what are the underlying tables, we'll create the indexes. So for that also we took a lot of time, because here the function-based index is a one component, but here it is not equivalent. The underlying objects are there, on top of, they fine-grained what are the indexes are required involved in function-based indexes in a source database. So there also we have taken a lot of time. And third, the constraints. As I mentioned, out of 1,000 tables, they have 12 tables, foreign key, primary key. There is no, Ora to PG, there is no, we have checked all the parameters, there is no, to say that first to go for parent table followed by child table, there is no functionality. Those 12 tables, no, we struggled a lot. So those three, we raised a request, that is a Ora to PG written by one guy, Gerald something. Now he is supporting by Hexa cluster. The Ora to PG is an open source tool. We requested to that Ora to PG. So he given those are the three components. So I cannot make the process the way parent table followed by child table. No, I cannot make, maybe in next version. But you can differ like Oracle. We can say alter table, no validate. It won't validate the table. Like that, we have differed those three constraints. Then we have re-imported those 12 tables. Then after that, we have enabled. After that, we have checked those 12 tables, how many rows in parent table, how many rows in child table. Same thing, we have cross-checked in Postgres, how many rows in parent, how many, and also there will be indexes and parent and child tables. We have cross-checked both that also. So these three we have taken a lot of time. That too, the first migration. Maybe second migration, one more schema we did in maybe 10 to 12 working days. But first we have suffered a lot. Because there is a Ora to PG. If it is Oracle means you can raise SR request, service request. Oracle will take care of binary patch, that patch, this patch, CPU patch. But here this is completely open source, no sir. Completely open source. So we have to raise a request, then he will go through, and we have given my assessment report. Then he has gone through my assessment report. Then where and all applicable, they made it the version. Maybe latest is 25.4 something. It is having those constraint values. So that tool, maybe when you migrate, you are encountering some issues. You will raise the request for Hexa cluster or Ora to PG. In next, they will introduce. So day by day, Ora to PG, where I have seen 3 years back, now it is a lot of difference, sir. No doubt. Yeah.
Why not use session level replication role to do the data?
This is
Invalidates your
because this is one is a retail system, one is a core banking system. So I cannot take that decision, because when I'm comparing the relationships with the data, business logic, so I'm not able to go that route. So team tried, but they didn't agree, because CBS system, each and every row is important. because when it comes to accountability, data, and acid properties, this and all, when it comes together, we are not able to take. Maybe that is the best route, I don't know, for other domains, but BFSI, definitely no.
But anyways, you disabled the foreign keys before you did the data load.
Correct.
Uh,
But
both
after
are-
that, we enabled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So session level replication role also acts like the same, correct? So you set the configuration to replica, and then once you finish your data load, you again set it to urgent. So which would again enforce the data integrity and foreign key checks.
This feature, we did it in Postgres 14. But 15, they have given those type of functionality. In 14, we don't have.
Okay.
In 14, we don't have. Yeah.
So,
Madam. Sorry, go ahead.
So, it's a very good presentation and with lot of technical issues that you explained. For the cases in which the two things are two algorithms, for example, you have a procedure written in Oracle, which is otherwise reducible, and somebody can write an equivalent procedure in Postgres. So this is, so in cases it is reducible.
Yeah.
Now my question is slightly from a computer science background rather than specifically from the database perspective itself. Given there are two algorithms, A1 and A2, and maybe I will be able to write some formal mechanism which verifies that A1 is reducible to A2 or A2 is reducible to A1, meaning to say that both of them are giving me equivalent results. Why I am saying this is because you said that there are a lot of time you spend for testing, meaning how do you ensure that the two things are absolutely equivalent? Because if you loaded something different, then it may become a chaos, and like that all of them that needs to be identified in advance.
Yeah.
Before you put it into production. So is there any mechanism going on to find out the two algorithms or two procedures which we received after the migration are equivalent, actually, a formal mechanism rather than an exhaustive testing?
We didn't go, but it's a good question. We didn't go that way.
No, you did not go. But my question is,
I
if
understand.
there is any mechanism going on under development, or if there is anything already available somewhere, which does it more scientifically, more formally rather than even if using AI or something like that.
So here, most important thing is, as I mentioned earlier question, we are able to move tables, indexes in 5 working days. This migration completely involves the retail store. One is a BFSI vertical. There, when we said there is an open source tool, for example, in AWS, there is a schema conversion tool that will give more or less same 75%. But in Ora2 PG, when we go for that, they said stick on to Ora2 PG. Because when I go for assessment report, finally the auditor, they will look with the Ora2 PG in terms of assessment reports. So if I introduce middle of somewhere open source tools, they didn't agree. Maybe that is one of the reason. And frankly speaking, second thing is, I didn't look the alternatives because completely focus on business logic, how we can transform this business logics. So they completely focus on day to day, when they are checking with each and every module, what is the final outcome. So because when you are going first time, now I have some fair idea. Some of the tools you can go for schema conversion tool along with Ora2 PG, because Ora2 PG is an open source tool. But no one will stop using a conversion tool in AWS. But when you're going for first time, so we have stick on to assessment reports versus final report. So maybe there will be a ways, but definitely second migration, maybe I will look into it. But here the complete focus on, we have raised requests for date versus timestamp and parent versus child tables. these are the things we have sticked on to.
These are both challenges.
Correct.
They have already identified.
Yeah.
Basically, like I'm saying, simplest thing. For example, I wrote a program for bubble sort,
Uh,
and another person also write the same program bubble sort, but it is not vocational. We just discovered somehow what is bubble sort, and we both wrote and assume both are writing correctly. But how do we identify that both are giving the same result actually? So same is for your procedures. So that is coming to my head, that how do I ensure that the two things are accurate and are reducible to each other?
So, for your question, straight answer is maybe I have not looked into alternatives by our complete focus on when you execute the business logic. For example, account update. For example, 1,000 rupees you are updating through one of the module in Oracle. It is taking some so and so time. Even after migration, no, we didn't worried about the time taken. Still, Oracle is doing better than PostgreSQL after migration. So when you update 1,000, it is, let's say for example, it taken 2 seconds, but here it is taking 10 seconds. But we are not worried about the execution time. So we have first the validated in terms of customers' data. That is the highest priority. Then they have some 30 plus or 40 plus business routines. Once we gone through, no, then we looked into, as he asked, how many indexes is not there in the Postgres. For example, function-based index, they use reverse key index. There is no equivalent in PostgreSQL. So we could have done, we have taken into nearest path. So that the whole process, it took a lot of time, only because of the validation. Yeah. Maybe alternative way will be there. Definitely, I will check it out, sir. Yes, sir.
You have you said that you have been quite migrating the packages and routines and functions and procedures.
Sir.
So, do you recommend any other tool for migrating the packages? And one more thing is that the assessment also, pre-assessment, the HTML report you generated for packages will not involve all the complexity. So does any other tool you use for assessment also?
Frankly speaking, no, sir. But actually, AWS, I don't want to mention here, they said the schema conversion tool, they more or less, it will go 75% to 80%. But there will be a support cost license because customer is opted PostgreSQL is only for 2 reasons. One is no vendor lock-in. That is one. Second, heavily licensed users. These are the 2 things he stick on to. Maybe the schema conversion tool, he could have done 50 to 60%. Because this completely whole story, we didn't go to the alternatives, we didn't go to any shortcuts. Completely we depend on open source because we have taken the target database of PostgreSQL community, so we stick on to Oracle PG. Yes, sir.
Sir, one more question.
Sir.
So when we talk about the Aura to PG migration, so did we do the migration or did you do the migration on the similar hardware, or is the Postgres hardware was better or much lesser compared to the scale which Oracle was using?
Good question.
I mean, I do have a follow-up questions on that.
So basic things. When we go for migration from A to B, the first step is I have to look in my headroom in the current server, means how many users are getting into system. What are the transactions per second in high load? Basically, we have taken AWR report in production loads, Monday to Friday. So where we have checked what are the tables, high load tables, what are the transactions per second, and what are the CPUs, available CPUs after transactions, and what is exactly your system with performance base, it will give AWR report. After multiple checks in AWR report in different frequent intervals, there is a Thanksgiving Day in US. The load will be double in compared to normal days. There also we have taken. when you move to Postgres, there is no straight tool called AWR reports. As I mentioned, there is a PG bench. It will give you fair amount of transactions per second. And Oracle, you asked a very good question, sir. There is a tool called real application testing. Real application testing. Previously, we'll say total recall. When I'm migrating from server to server B, no, real application testing, the tool will take in production, it will take snapshot. That snapshot, the load of the tables, transactions per seconds, number of users, you can rewind in the server B. Oracle is having very good tool called real application testing. You no need to say, I'm going to migrate or I'm going to do some other system. How I will check the server is capable. You no need to check and all. Those days are gone. The real application testing tool will give you, when you take the snapshot from server A, when you rewind in server B, it will give you as if it is a production load. So in server B, after seeing my rewind, I can say, okay, I need 2 CPUs, I need this much memory. So these are the number of users are coming into the system in peak load, and these are the number of users coming into not normal days, Thanksgiving Day and Christmas holidays. So there you can define. But in PostgreSQL, no, you have a PG bench. There is an extension. It's okay. I can say 50 to 60%. But when you go through the AWR reports, those tables, when you're comparing, no, we have to do our manual math only. But we don't have like real application testing. We don't have those tools. But manual math is, okay, for example, 1 CPU for Oracle. How many CPUs are required here? PG bench is again open source extension. They have given 50 to 60%. I can say 60% fair enough. That 40%, no, we have to use our experience, sir.
Okay, thank you. Sir, one more follow-up question on
Yes,
this.
sir.
So you also told that you were able to, you had to manually write the procedures and functions from Oracle to Postgres. So leaving, probably in the functions, right, leaving the query execution time, did you check which one is much quicker, like in terms of execution of the functions? Like, is it Oracle or on the Postgres side?
So here I can say 2 things, sir. As I mentioned the previous question, the final goal is validation. Customers' data validation. I mentioned Oracle is taking 2 seconds. The procedure function taking 10 seconds. We are not worried. We are worried the customer has checked all the routines are working fine. My batch jobs, my month reports, end of day, end of week reports are equivalent with PostgreSQL. Then we started doing the indexes creation and partitioning the tables, all those things. So basically, actually, we moved Oracle RAC system, sir. Oracle RAC means you will have 2 servers, common database, real application clusters. But we don't have, not in Postgres, the beautiful real application clusters functionality in Oracle till now, no other vendor has implemented. I can say IBM DB2, Microsoft SQL Server, PostgreSQL, MongoDB, you take whichever database you want. So 2 servers talking to common storage. There is no straight real application clusters functionality in any of the databases, rest of the RDBMS. So my thought process or my worry was, after migration, after checking their source, we have 2 systems for taking the user connections. Means Oracle RAC system, 2 node RAC. But here we are bringing 1 primary with 4 read replicas. I was worried about the transactions are coming in, but frankly speaking, PostgreSQL is able to handle that load. That is, after that, no, I was, okay, PostgreSQL, that is mission critical. The only thing is, why we were going for high availability, sir? Both are active. One active server is down, based on fan connections, there is a transparent application failover. It will take your user connections to server 2. You no need to do anything. In your JDBC connection, you have to write such a functionality, transparent application failure in Oracle. If it is a rack based, 2-node rack, 3-node, that is not available in Postgres. If primary is down, someone has to go to read replicas, make it primary. Or in previous session, people are talking about Patroni, HA proxy. We have to use that functionality. But straight away, real application clusters, active, talking to common storage, no. Am I clear,
Thank you,
sir?
sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Anything else? Huh. Single node primary, 4 read replicas. Yes, sir. So, the online transactions we have taken into primary. There will be a batch processing, there will be a reporting, someone will take a queries, customer reports. We all redirected to read replicas. So primary, especially for OLTP. Read replicas for OLAP. I mean data warehousing. Clear, sir? Correct, sir. Correct, sir. Yes, sir.
So, thank you, Ravi Kumar, sir, for this insightful session and for answering to our questions patiently. Now, I would like to call Mr. Babu from DB team to the dais to give the moment to our guest.